think it's working.
Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine, giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. Welcome. I'm Mike Blaine, also known as Cash Flow Mike. That is my friend, my partner, Blaine Birch. He is the CEO of Dryrun, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man? You're still in Arizona.
Still in Arizona just for a few more days. we're gonna take in the long weekend here, and then we're gonna head over to California on Monday. So, looking forward to a little trip up the coast, and we'll see. But hopefully, I can record somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna be next Thursday, so we'll figure it out as we go. But it's pretty good.
I've done that to you a lot. I've done it from Mexico. I've done it from Utah. I've done it from Atlanta. I mean, Orlando. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It'll I think we can probably figure something out and sneak in an episode. So good topic today. Give us a quick brief on where you came up with this idea of what we're going to talk about in a few minutes.
All right, so it's different, right? So the theme of 2026 is let's do with trending topics. Let's do with things that people are talking about. Well, I was watching TV yesterday. Or was it TV or was it Instagram? It was one of them, a reel or something like that, where a woman is in handcuffs in the back of a police vehicle, right? The window, must be hot wherever they're at, is down not very far, maybe a foot.
That one.
You saw that one? Yeah. She's in handcuffs, climbs out the window, falls onto the ground, and then takes off running.
Yeah.
The question I got is, who filmed it?
Oh, yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Some guy standing there, doesn't say a word, just sits there and films the whole thing.
It doesn't say shit to the cops, nothing like that. I mean, just lets it happen. That's what we've become, because when I called this the Public Meltdown Economy, the reason I chose the word economy is because economy, when you think about it, we trade money for value, like goods or services. That's what we think about when it's economy. I'm starting to think that the reason why people pick up their phone and they start videoing everything is that they are creating value from the video, regardless of what's happening. Somebody could be being beat up, robbed, mugged, criminals escaping, and your first instinct is to pick up your camera. Why? Because you're going to get something out of it. Maybe not money, but you'll get recognition. You'll get pats on the back. You'll get likes. It's a weird form of exchange, but it's created another economy. What do you think about that?
Well, very insightful. I think it's really interesting. What I also am really curious about is and I know we don't have the data here, but I am curious about the economics, because there are, like, you literally just talked about a clip and I'm like, yeah, I've seen that one. How many millions upon millions of people see these things? That they have better coverage sometimes on a clip like this than the top sitcom on the top network, and yet people are probably not even making no money or enough to buy a cup of coffee off of that, and yet it has more eyeballs and views, and sometimes a shelf life that's actually longer than really expensive professionally produced content.
Yeah, so so that's where it all came from, right? It's like going, okay, it's not just that, but we gravitate towards every bad thing. Somebody gets pulled off a plane, I'm watching it. I don't know if you saw the one of the woman that just went super nuts because somebody was too heavy in the seat next to him.
No, I will say I tend to try and avoid those, because I know it's so easy to get sucked in, and but I tend to try and avoid them. So I try not to watch too many of them. You can tell as soon as you see it, it's like two cars. It's not going to be something nice. It's going to be road rage, like, for sure, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I get sucked into it. But you can remember 7 years I was a state trooper. So, I'm kind of drawn to watch and see what happened, especially if there's a police officer involved. I'm judgy as hell right now. I ain't been a police officer since the 1900s, but I'm gonna judge you on the way you interact with the public, right? Because the training didn't go away.
Yeah.
It's just the way I visualize and think about things are differently, and I'm sure the way I would police today would have to be way different than I did in the 90s. It's got to be a total different job.
I imagine everything's changed. So, okay, before we dive into that topic, and because we will, and we're gonna really, first of all, we have. I've just got to say, please like, subscribe, follow. While I remember, please do that. If you're watching, please like. It really helps the algorithms. But also, we have some beer sponsors because we feature a beer every week, and we have some beer sponsors. We got to talk about our beer sponsors. And what are you drinking today?
All right. I went and got, I know I've done Carbach in the past. I haven't done this one, and I'm going to be in trouble because it's like a 9.5, right? So 9.5, but it's called Rodeo Clown, right?
Nice.
And I think somewhere on here it says down to clown on it. I thought that was funny, right? So to me, oh yeah, it is. Oh, get down with the clown. That's what it says. Get down with the clown.
Nice.
When I think about these videos, I think about the clowns that are involved. Right? So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to try to bring it in. But so yeah, I went with Carbach, down the clown, or Rodeo Clown, little double IPA. Nice. Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be good.
And I still feeling incredibly guilty because for yet another week, like I don't know how many in a row, I'm cleaning out my fridge, and all we got left. I got another Guinness here, and it even is the one with like the little Christmas Christmas town on the can of Guinness. I do like the beer. It's like Guinness is my whatever go-to light beer, and so I do enjoy it. But yeah, I usually like to feature some craft beer. I can see my camera has decided to.
It can't figure out where you're at today.
No, can't figure it out. Move around, see if it picks me back up. Oh, it's not like people want to see me sharp and clear anyway. So
yeah. So one of the reasons we get to sit around and drink beer on a Thursday afternoon is our beer sponsors, right? I mean, so neighbor Pat always brings me down some beers, and he came down earlier this week, but really just to hang out. And I think we drank all the beer. It's kind of what happened. We drank all the beer, so that's why I had to go get the Rodeo Clown because we already drank Pat's beer. But Pat still came down. Neighbor Pat, he's a long-time listener. He's probably our longest listener. Probably the most in tune with the show. I mean, he knows he knows if we change tone. He's saying that this is your best year yet. Yours.
Thank you, Pat.
Talking about you. He said, I don't know. He's like excited this year. He's like into it. He's engaged. I'm like going, yeah, we changed it up, right? It wasn't as boring as it was in the past, I guess.
I'm liking this here too. I think you've been nailing the topics, and we've kind of got it figured out. But thank you so much, Pat. We appreciate it, and I know you've been supporting the show. You're listening to the show. You're bringing Mike beer all the time. Much appreciated. I also heard that didn't the other Mike Milan, I think, didn't he text and say he's caught up on episodes? So he's hitting these episodes too. So thank you, Mike, for keeping an eye on us too.
He does. And you know what? The other Mike Milan, he always kind of pings us with the zinger, right? He's always got something good that he puts on the table and for messages, things like that. You could too. Believe it or not, we're actually very responsive to people that just kind of reach out to us. Except for that last guy. Did you see the message from the last guy?
No, I don't even think I saw
it. I couldn't tell if he was being mean to us or not. I couldn't tell. We had a reel out there when we talked about the McDonald's CEO calling the burger a product, and he made reference of that's just what it's called in the food business, and you guys are idiots because you're drinking beer saying the same things. Or something like that. I'm like going, yeah, that's the whole show. We just drink beer and say things.
What I'm not doing is, okay, this is what the McDonald's guy would be doing. He'd be like, this is a lovely product.
Oh, you barely got it on your lip. Oh, that's too much.
delicious product. That was the McDonald's guy. That's exactly like, yeah. If you didn't think that weird, if you could be in the food industry, you should think that's weird. I don't care what industry you're in. It was weird.
So anyway, we did have one listener that does not like it when we make fun of McDonald's. So.
Must maybe a shareholder, I don't know, or just an avid McDonald's fan, I suppose. We weren't slamming McDonald's. We were just making fun of the CEO.
And I'll tell you what, if you're running a business and you want to eat more than McDonald's, you want steak, you want lobster, you want caviar, all these great things, you need to go get the book, Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profits, by one of our beer sponsors, Amazon bestseller Karen Hairston. She has that book for you. And not only that, she owns 3S Smart Consulting up in Michigan. She helps people put money in their pocket. So go get her book, call her up, get her as part of your consulting team, and start eating steak, not McDonald's.
And thank you again, Karen. And Devin, biggest LSU fan on the planet, also Netflix superstar. I almost said Netscape. I'm like, well, that's old school. Netscape. He's on Netscape. No, Netflix superstar Devin, biggest LSU fan on the planet, keeps coming back, keeps supporting the show. Thank you so much, Devin. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So good. Here's the thing. Have you ever been in a public meltdown where people go, ooh, I didn't think about that from Blaine. I didn't see Blaine doing that. I can't imagine you being in a meltdown, but have you?
Not a meltdown, but I was got into a little, I'll call it a tussle at a concert we were at, because there were some drunk people butting in front of us. And of course, everyone had got there early. We were like a few feet from the stage, and then they came in and wedged their way in, and we're just being, and I don't like that. So my mouth started to really run. Yeah. And then she tried to get me on a camera and stuff, but I imagined to post something, and I'm like, that's kind of the problem here. She was being really obnoxious, drunk, butted in front of a bunch of people, forced the guy in front of her to hunch down so she could see the stage, and then was mad when people told her to go, don't bud. So, I could have easily been recorded that day. Although I wouldn't say it was a meltdown. I wasn't yelling or anything, but I was blunt, I suppose, without what I was saying. So, yeah. But
it's funny you talk about the concert. I remember I came to Scottsdale 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. At the concert, the couple in front of me, I would take a half step to the left, then she would. Then I would take another half step to the left, then she would. And I was out of room. It was 3 or 4 moves. I mean, each time she was moving with me and always in the way. First of all, she's tall, right? She's got to be tall. I'm 6 foot tall, and I couldn't see past her. I'm like, that's a tall person, right? So I moved. She went to move again, and I put my hand out and just barely touched her shoulder. You would have thought that I committed the gravest crime in the world. I'm like, hey, I moved several times and you keep moving in front of me. I was just trying to give a little space. That's all. I got the death stare. The death stare. But
that's somebody that wants that, is expecting it, is pushing towards it so she can play victim. You can just tell. That's what a lot of these are. It's like they like to play victim. They like to tell everyone how they've been wrong when they start it, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that's what this whole thing is, right? It's not always about money. When people are trying to create a situation or film a situation, because today's meltdown, it might be between you and a company. We've already talked about different companies. I mean, people being dragged off airplanes and this type of stuff. But what happens is something goes wrong. Somebody else hits record right? Before anything else. I mean, that's the next step, hits record. Then they post the clip sometimes before they even call the cops. They're on Twitter or whatever before you even call the cops. People react. And what I think is, and then it spreads, right? Just like we saw the stuff. That's a whole system, believe it or not. That's a system that grew organically. It is not something that people have been taught to do. It grew organically and people just fell into it. And systems are the same to me as economies. That's the reason why I use the word. But in this economy, money is not the direct connection, right? It's not always the direct value that you get. I think people want attention, they want views, they want engagement, they want followers, they want influence of somewhere at some point, but attention to them equals opportunity, because you get on a big news show, they give you credit. Blaine Birch on Instagram or, whatever it is, wherever you posted it.
Yeah, those ones drive me nuts, to be honest, because it'll be like what looks like a news story, and then they'll say like Yellow Tuba 749 says, as soon as they use the handle of like, you just threw every little bit of credibility out. And if you're writing an article based on someone's tweet, you're really throw into the towel on your job there. But it is interesting though that how, like I said, how much activity, like how many eyeballs you get on something. There is a lot of money. There is a lot of money generated by those eyeballs. I just don't know if it ever gets to the creator a lot of times that actually created it, or not even created, was there to film it. But somebody's making money when you have that many eyeballs, that many views.
Well, I think they're not creating it, but they're opportunistic, right? They see somebody else's outrage. They see somebody else's embarrassment or some type of conflict or big emotion. I've even seen people just, happy, right? So one of those things happen where it's a moment that is authentic, right? And I know we've talked about that in the past. There is an authentic moment happening, whether created, manufactured, or just there, right? It just happened organically. But someone else is trying to say there's something that I can share. Share why? So I can get those things. I can get my friends to like it. I can get people to share it. I can get people to comment on it and argue about it, whatever it is. And to me, the reason why I think this whole thing exists is that, when you and I grew up, no cameras. I don't even think my dad will let me touch the camera. When I say that, we had like one camera, right? It was his. That was his like thing, right? There, I don't get to touch it.
And film was expensive. Each photo was expensive. When you actually think about buying film and then getting it developed, and I'm talking when we were kids, because it did get less expensive to develop film as they started to get into digital printing and everything. But I would say, like, by comparison, in today's dollars, you would probably get like a roll of film in today's dollars from 1980 to now or whatever. Probably would be $10, $15 probably would be a roll like film, and then getting it actually, produced into photos or slides or whatever it is. Again, by today's dollars, you're probably looking at $2 or $3 a photo. Like you'd be dropping probably $50 or $30, $40 to develop that film. Each picture costs probably a few bucks if it was in today's dollars. And what a change to basically throw away. Like I couldn't even tell you how many. I delete a lot of pictures on my phone too, but how many photos do you have on your phone?
Oh, dude, if I look at Courtney's, I think she's like 47,000 or something. But me, I don't have probably as many as others.
I've got 47,000.
47,000. Is that true?
187. Yeah.
Oh my God, I picked the exact number.
Let's see if I can.
Where did you find that?
I don't know. I can't get my camera to.
Take a guess of mine. Take a guess of mine. How many photos do you think Cash Flow Mike has taken and kept and didn't delete yet?
11.
No, I got more than that. I have 5,900.
Okay, well that's a respectable number.
Yeah, well, I mean, and a lot of it is look. If you look at my things, I mean, I might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 photos of just things like this, so I can figure out which, where I took wires from. Right? Did you see it? Like, like half of my photos, like I'm replacing. Yeah, I want to remember how things were set up. Right? Where's that at?
But those I delete, and like I'll delete a lot of stuff too. So I bet you I've probably deleted as many photos as I've taken. And well, I think some of those are probably video, but I don't think I've got that many videos. But I can't believe you actually got the nailed the number on there. That's quite something.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And I don't think I take a lot of pictures either,
just where it's tagged, where it came from, all that type of stuff. I mean, I take more photos like that just so I can remember before I dismantle something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have to put it back together. Right? I'm like, hey, what is this before I, tear it all apart?
Yeah, I'll take photos. I'll sometimes even take videos and voiceover with the video, and it usually is quite temporary. Or sometimes I'll actually throw the videos into a note or something because I'll need it later potentially, and then I'll sometimes delete it out of my phone. But I didn't realize how many I had there. That is an epic amount of photos.
Yeah. I mean, you're like a teenage girl taking photos of everything. Like, oh, here's.
Well, that's the amazing part is I actually don't feel like I take a lot of photos. I definitely don't share a lot of photos. That's the one thing. I don't share a lot of them, but I don't feel like I actually take that many photos.
What was the last photo you took?
The last photo. Let me go to my library. Oh, now I'm in the. I don't even know. How do I get to the. It went to my oldest one. No, sort by recently added. Okay, let's see. No, that's like the oldest one I have.
All right, so check this out. This is today. I'm out there just kind of, hosing down the patio around the pool and all that. And I noticed some of the ground has eroded away from a part of the patio. And I'm like, what the heck is that? There is a family. Look, you see 3 here, but there was 4 of frogs that were living in this little hole underneath the patio.
Nice. This is why it's taken so long, because I'm still only about 2018 right now, trying to get to the top. There must be a shortcut to do it, but
you can't go to recents, like in collection.
I don't know. Okay, here's the last one I took. It was a video of this quail, and then there was another little bird up there that was
sitting on top of one. What are those called? Saguaro cactuses? What are those called?
Saguaro, yeah. So that was this little quail here. The color's not looking so good, but it looks better on screen than on my camera here. But yeah, no, it's just a quail sitting up there. I don't know. The most exciting photo. So.
All right, so we got way off track. That's part of the BS, right? If you ever listen to the show, there's beer, there's business, there's BS, right? And you just got a little bit of that.
Well, no, this ties right into it. I think the thing is, okay, here's a question then. So I have 47,187 items on here. How many do you think are me filming people like in one of these situations where you're angry and you're
maybe 10.
I don't think I have any.
All right, well, that's what I'm saying.
So that's where I'm thinking that there's some people must be wired. I don't know if I saw that. If I would be the first thing I would think would be to pull up my phone. I pull up my phone when there's a quail or a fancy bird or something like that. That kind of stuff. But I don't think,
if there's something violent going on, I'm damn near I'm not pulling out my phone.
I'm not.
I'm making sure I'm not harmed. I'm making sure I'm not harmed. Yeah.
That you're not going to be the next involved. Like I even have like we have a cam in our car so that it because we've seen enough weird stuff on the road. So I have a cam so that I have proof if someone runs into us or whatever, but also I can, if somebody does something really stupid on the road, sometimes I'll remember to push the button and just save it in case something happens and they, it's like, oh shoot, they could use a video of it. That's about it though. I never even take it off the cam ever.
Yeah. All right. So here's what I think happened for this to occur, right? Not only the cameras are everywhere, there's also platforms that let you get rewarded from emotion, right? And I think, I can't prove it, I don't know. I think the algorithms inside Instagram or Facebook or even YouTube, probably TikTok for sure, reward emotion like anger or shock or drama, right?
Yeah.
Calm doesn't spread. Calm doesn't create viral. Those things create it. So I think they push it because they want you to stay engaged. They want you to go, oh, you like watching one person fight? Here, maybe you like watching 2 people fight. Maybe you like 100 people fight. Right. And they just keep showing it to you over and over and over again.
But it does learn what you want to see though, right? Like the algorithms will feed what you engage with, I think.
Yeah, it's so weird though, because I think it's set to like, I watched something for maybe it was like a 2-minute video. I watched 10 or 15 seconds of it. And then I saw more topics like that. I'm like, well, I didn't like the first one. I jumped off of it in 10 or 15 seconds. Right? I didn't sit there and watch the whole thing. So because I watched 5% of the video, why do you keep showing me stuff like that?
Yeah. I think on I don't even know if it's like Instagram or what it is. I am getting inundated with cockatoo videos because I saw a cockatoo and he was hilarious. And now it's like my entire feed is cockatoos doing something funny. But I got to say that I kind of like the videos because they are hilarious and I like they're really funny birds. And so I watched them all the time and they get more and more and more. And then pretty soon it's like, that's my entire feed. And it was totally unintentional, right?
So I'm like a process construction type guy. I watch start to finish, whatever. I mean, I like watching that. Pouring a foundation, those things that build the houses, those construction companies that build the houses with automatic 3D printer, right?
3D printer thing, yeah.
That stuff fascinates me. The things that are pissing me off now, there's a trick that they're doing on I guess these things now, I don't know, what is it, social media, where they will get you all the way up till the reveal and not show you the reveal. They'll throw an ad in there and then it will be on some other video. You got to go watch and find it. You even got to go find it. It won't be like next in the play. And like, wait a second, I just invested 4 minutes, 5 minutes watching you get to the point where I wanted to see what it looked like afterwards. And you cut it with a commercial and then didn't show me.
Yeah, those drive me nuts because the other thing in my feed is people making guitars like and just really cool, beautiful work, and you get to see like this raw piece of wood, but then they never seem to show the end, and it drives me batty. But this is okay for as much as AI has infiltrated everyone's lives in the world. These algorithms aren't getting any smarter. In fact, I think they're getting stupider. And I should be able to get rid of a feed, but I should be able to tell why. Because that's exactly it. If I say, I don't want to watch this video, don't show me more guitar making videos. No, I want to see those. I don't want to see the one where they cut off the reveal at the end. I should be able to now explain, I don't want to see that, and this is why. And in fact, it's the same thing in my news feeds there. And I've told you this before. If I see a headline that's clickbait, or I get into an article and it's like a bait and switch type thing, I want to be able to say, never show me an article from that writer ever again, and never show me an article that is like got these sort of parameters. But it isn't like that. What it is like, oh, you don't want to see news ever again? Like it's so generic.
Yeah.
And so their own algorithms are so very broken. And I think that's I don't think that actually helps these social media companies make more money. I think if they actually made the content better and more about what I wanted to see, you would engage with it more and be on it more.
It might make them more money because here's what happened. All right. So you got cameras everywhere, you got platforms that do this, and then attention has become currency. It's the indirect way to get money because if I have more views, then I'll get more followers. And if I have more followers, I have more opportunities, right? Once those things happen, more cameras, places I can show stuff because I get more followers and more likes and more engagement, then other companies will go, oh, he's got like 1 million views. Somebody's going to see his stuff. Why?
Yeah.
Because it gives me all the way to the end, and then I got to go search for the end of the video somewhere else. And then he's got all his other videos. I don't know. Maybe.
But have you ever actually searched for the end?
No,
Because I never have. I don't
never
care
have.
enough.
Yeah. No. I'm more pissed, and if I think it's going to go that way, I don't watch them anymore. Right?
Exactly. So I've that's the other thing is that like I would like to be an easier way to block people. So if I'm watching the video and I go, yeah, it felt like a bait and switch. I should be able to go, don't ever show me that person in this feed ever again. And you can't. So or maybe you can. I don't know. It depends what network you're on and that. But it should be easier to tune your network for content that you actually see as valuable.
Yeah, but I've seen, like, we'll call them influencers. They'll use some of these tactics, get 1 million followers, we'll say, show fights and stuff like that, but they're trying to sell hoodies or they're trying to sell something else. And it's just because they got so many views on this stuff, they're trying to sell the other things. And, they didn't invent drama. They didn't invent it, but some of them have figured out how to make it profitable on social media, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Our video is completely out of sync.
It is? What do you mean?
It's way behind. Oh, is it caught up now? It's caught up.
Oh,
I was nodding and it was like a 5-second delay. So hopefully this is streaming.
I didn't even notice.
Oh, really? Okay, on my side, it was doing really weird stuff. I was like, oh man, I wonder if it's gonna drop me off here. So
yeah. So the other thing, when they were, when I saw the girl jump out of the police car, it reminded me of some other ones. Like, you ever seen the what Chipotle did? With this, they almost like banned cameras in the whole place, right? Because people would come in and film the worker just making their burrito bowl or something like that. And human nature, they got a little bit bigger scoop of stuff. If they didn't film it versus when they filmed it, I don't know what it was, but they seem to, that became kind of a trend, a myth. I'll call it a myth. Maybe you didn't get as much or you didn't get more, but people started to film it so they would get bigger portions on their bowl. And they would have people go in there and say, hey, here's the guy that didn't film it, ordered the same thing as the guy that did film it. And it would be a massive difference.
Yeah.
Well, so everybody started doing that, just filming the Chipotle worker while they're building the burrito bowl. And workers were getting stressed out about it because, they're getting their ass kicked probably by like, hey, you're ruining our margins when you do stuff like this, and they're just trying to do their training, but they who knows what happens. There's something that happened internally into their psyche or into their muscle memory that they did a little extra.
Yeah. That's so interesting. That's changes like because that's the flip side we never talked about. Kind of think about what it does to a business, like if you try and take advantage of these types of things. This is so weird because the video is not matching my time. Is it on your side? Because it isn't on my side at all. It's totally delayed.
You just did a speed up thing just a second ago.
Weird.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with this.
It's Riverside, man. It's Riverside. I'm going to blame Riverside on that.
Yeah, it's having a little bit of trouble today, I think. But the flip side is kind of interesting, though, is how can a business be affected either positively or negatively by this always on camera revolution? And like you said, like Chipotle, we're actually like, it was affecting their margins. But then on the flip side, if they're posting a lot of this and it's positive, then you're getting great press from it. If it's negative, like, oh, look how crappy my food was, then maybe they're not benefiting from it. So it's kind of a real risk or reward type thing. And can you really control the people coming into your business that are cameras always on?
Well, just like, I mean, have you ever seen the fake fart machine videos? I forget some. It was a foreign country airline.
No.
All right,
Not seen that.
All right, so this is where flatulence becomes content strategy, right? So I mean, you've probably been on a plane before and somebody's passed gas around you, and like, oh, it's the worst, man. It's the absolute worst. There's nothing you can do. You just have to sit through it. Right. And half the time you don't really know who did it. You can probably guess.
I try to get those jets just going as much as
I
can.
just turn them on. Just turn them on. Yeah. So a person as a content strategy brought a fake fart machine, right? And I don't think the smell was there, but I think the sound was there. Right. So just to and what they did was they filmed people's reactions to the noise. They go, and then film people around them to see who reacted to it, as part of their content. So, I mean, think about that. That's manufacturing like emotion. And there were people that were getting pissed that somebody was farting. There was no smell to it. It was a sound, but there were people getting pissed about the fact that people were farting on the plane and just kept doing it, kept ripping it. Now, the problem is now, if you did it and most people have headphones on, right?
They're not getting it.
Yeah, they're probably not getting the joke or whatever. But other people with the headphones on, sometimes if they fart, they can't even hear their own fart. So it might be a silent one in their mind, but because they have headphones on, they didn't hear the it goes out for everybody else. So think about that. I mean, if we're now using people's reactions as content, is that currency, right? That's, again, I'm going back to how I thought this was an economy, and the economy they're trading is indirectly tied to money in a business.
Yeah. Well, what was the famous practical joke TV show?
Old one or new one, or which one?
Well, I know there was a really old, like 1980s one or something, or I just know there was one that was a practical joke show. And then I know more recently, Just for Laughs did like Just for Laughs pranks or something.
I mean, there's one that's been around for about a decade. It's called Impractical Jokers.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen that. No, I'm talking like 30, 40 years ago or something like that when I was a kid. Because it was really like, that was really popular content at one time, and it's just sort of, it's like everything that's old is new again. It's a little bit different. It's sort of like micro pranks with micro filming, but people always used to like to watch that anyway, right?
I think I even get sucked into that. There's this thing at the barbershop that they have on, and I think they got the airport too. It's called Chive TV. Okay. And it's just ridiculous stuff that happens. I mean, bike fails or pranks or things like that. And I can't help but watch it.
Yeah. Well, they used to be, there was a one time where all those like bike crashes, car crashes, like usually racing, things like that. That was some early cable TV shows, I think were like that. So they were tapping in a little bit, but not to the level and not to the volume that they do now. But there's also, the whole world wasn't seeing some silly clip that somebody took on their phone. Yeah, that's where it's changed so dramatically.
All right, so before all that, right? And I didn't have a phone, so I couldn't video it. I went to Giant Foods grocery store in Galesburg, Illinois. And I took my grandmother there. I'm probably 16, maybe 17 years old. So we're talking maybe 87, somewhere in there, 1987. And my grandma wants to go into the store, and she goes, "Hey, you can sit out in the car if you want to." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll just sit out in the car, listen to music." A big snow ice storm had come through, right? And that's why she had to go to the store to get some stuff or whatever. And in Illinois, we used to get a lot of ice, a lot of snow, those type of things. And I parked pretty close to the front door of this place, and they hadn't put down the right amount of salt or the right amount of ice melt or whatever it is. And I bet every third person that came up to the door, the front door, the door of the grocery store, fell. And I laughed and laughed. And I'm like, going, it's insensitive now. If I did it now, everybody like, "Oh, you're a jerk. You're laughing at somebody falling on ice." As a 17-year-old, if you fall on me in front of on ice, I was laughing. I laughed for like 45 minutes straight, however long it took her to go in and come back out. I laughed the whole time. And I started making bets with myself of, I wonder if they're going to fall. I mean, nobody got seriously hurt, but there were, I'm going to say at least 12 people fell in 45 minutes.
Okay. This is kind of interesting because while you were talking about that, like again, back in that sort of time frame. So I wanted to see how many people were watching like the 1960 NFL championship, like Super Bowl. So I'm just trying to see that like the attendance was 67,000 fans. It has Nielsen ratings. Does it say how many people? The first real Super Bowl, total viewers approximately 51 million. So this is like it's a Super Bowl. You and I have got like 1 million and some views on some silly little short we have. So you think about that. I'm looking at the Super Bowl, but if you look at probably like a moderately popular television show, 1985, there's no way they got the viewers that we got on a silly little clip. It's actually changed. The metrics are completely different than there used to be.
Yeah. Well, think of how many views I could have got if I would have just videoed for that 45 minutes, everybody that fell, and then cut it to where you just saw fall. So here's last night at the grocery store. You would have watched all of them. You would have watched every single fall.
Yep. Yeah.
And instead of me standing out there saying, "Hey, it's slick over there," I would have videoed it.
Yeah. Well, and that was America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, there you
go. Again, I don't think they could even, I don't know if they still have the show, but I'm not sure if you could right now because
they still got it. Matter of fact, Carlton from host it from Fresh Prince.
From Fresh Prince. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised because I guess there's people, but there's so many ways to get that content now and so much content that it's shocking that it's still alive and kicking.
All right, so let me ask this question because we haven't talked about this. How does a person know if they should have filmed it? Like, should you have helped? Should you have, got involved? Should you have filmed it?
Well, I think by and large, people are not helping enough or getting involved enough. If it's their first instinct is to go for their phone and film somebody in distress or something. On the other side, it seems like there's a lot of things if it's conflict, probably not the safest thing to get involved either. So I suppose it depends on the circumstances.
Yeah, the ones that kind of are funny to me. Former state trooper. People will go by now driving and film whatever they see, if it's a wreck or something happening on the side of the road while they're driving, and to me, nothing screams safety like filming somebody else while you're driving.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to film this person. Look they're doing something dangerous. They're doing something dangerous.
right? That's always like, it's just crazy for me to see that. I'm like, dude, what are you filming? Right? You just that if all these people are stopped or slowed and things are happening, don't film. Put your hands on the wheels and pay attention because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a wreck, but it could be a wreck after a huge car chase with a serial killer that they've hunted down. He's on the run, and all of a sudden he like climbs out of the car and he's got a gun and he's running in the public, and you're just trying to film it.
Well, and even like if you were trying to film it and you're not paying attention, there's probably 20 cars in front of you that are doing the exact same thing. And that's how you're going to end up with a 20 car pileup because nobody's paying attention, right?
Yeah. So if in your business, all right, so to me, when I was a highway patrolman, they pounded a statement into my head. It seemed like it was the only thing they told me for, the whole 6 months of the academy was the eyes of the public are always on you. Doesn't matter what you're doing. I don't care if you're getting coffee, if you're filling up your tank, if you're, whatever, they're always on you. So if we think about that now, because if it was like that in the 90s when I was in law enforcement, think about it now for every business and every interaction. How do you train your team to consider that every interaction could be on film? That you could become one of these moments that we're making fun of.
Yeah, especially when you're a business like, of course, you and I are meeting. We're meeting with a short list of professionals, and it's it's not public in a way, but a business that has public coming and going every day, all the time, especially a bricks and mortar type business, you got to assume that. Yeah, you have to assume that everything is filmed, everything is on tape. You have to put a lot of trust into your staff. That's the other side, is telling your staff, hey, you can be on tape all the time. But let's say the Chipotle thing. Well, what if they actually did something wrong? What if there was some little health code violation? What if there was like compounds really rapidly, right?
Yeah, so I think you train the behavior, doing the right thing. Right? It's your behavior. You just do that. I mean, hey, everybody gets the scoop or whatever it is. It's not a heaping scoop, it's the scoop, right? Even if you got to use a scraper to pull it off or whatever it is. I also think what people don't do enough is de-escalate quickly.
Yeah.
That they'll let something build. And, I've seen confrontations where it's build. And then I've seen the group, if there's other people involved, they make it worse because other people will raise. When you raise the volume that you talk, other people do as well, right? Everybody wants to match somebody else's volume or even overcome it. If you go the opposite way, it de-escalates. If you're yelling at me, Blaine, as loud as you can, I'm going to talk softer. Why? Because there's going to be a point in time when you, the yeller, goes, oh, I'm not getting the reaction that I want.
Yeah.
And you change your behavior, right? So what you got to do is teach people to de-escalate, and you also got to train, do the right thing. The behavior is the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But what a challenge. Like you can train, but you can train all you want, but when push comes to shove, is your staff able to do that? You also don't want staff getting into altercations at all, because there could be, besides being filmed, it could be dangerous. It could be, it's having a physical business like that, like a bricks and mortar business. You just don't even think about how many other challenges it brings that you just would never even think about or be prepared for.
Yeah. Well, remember last week when we talked about everybody has main character energy now? I think as an employee, you got to remember that everyone you talk to thinks they're the main character and they get to narrate the story. Not you. You're just a person in the story. They're telling it with their camera, with their words, with their action, right? So, and to them, they're trying to get a rise. They're trying to escalate. They're trying to get something that they can capture. If somebody pulls out a camera and you're not in a situation yet, that should be red bells, right? Red alert, red sirens. I mean, whatever you want to call it. If someone pulls out a camera when you're in a situation that hasn't done anything yet, you might be part of somebody else's play that you don't know you're part of yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to be, just don't want to be there. You don't have any control over the situation, right?
Well, I mean, think about those folks on the street right now. They're getting blindsided with just people coming up behind them and hitting them. They're just walking down the street and they come up behind them and hit them. Somebody's videoing that. So if you're watching and you see somebody with a camera out, you better make sure it's not pointed at you.
Yeah.
Because you might be the thing they're trying to capture. You don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many of these stunts are likely actually criminal, and they filmed it.
Oh,
thinking,
definitely.
Not thinking too far ahead, right? I think everyone's going to appreciate their stunt.
What did we learn today? Different topic. This year is all about the trending, so we never know. That's what I like about it, is that neither one of us are the expert. We're not. No. We're not the expert. I mean, I'm chasing trends to try to keep up so I can talk about it, so I can figure out what's happening today and right now. I'm not creating trends, right? We're talking about it after the fact. We're like in the emotional wake of what other people are talking about.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting, and it inevitably with us, it always does circle back to business and how it potentially affects your business, and because a lot of things that are so new and change so fast and so much, you're just you're kind of at the mercy of it. So it's at least if you've seen it and heard about it, maybe you're a little bit better prepared for it. So.
Yeah, I think that biggest lesson is, remember, as a business, you're part of the show now.
Yep.
Whatever that is. Film. Yeah, just assume you're on film, everything you do.
Yeah.
Right. So cool.
Absolutely. And you don't have the control to edit it. Somebody's going to edit it. You don't get to see everything start to finish. It's a specific angle and specifically edited, and that's what that's what makes real video, I think at times, probably no more real than AI video, because it's so heavily angled, edited, cut. It's still a person's got control over what the story is that they're going to tell too often.
There you go. So what a great year. I'm having really a lot of fun with 2026.
Yeah, these topics are great. They're tons of fun. They're really good.
My hope is, if you're listening and you like it or don't like it, tell us, because we're having fun with it. But tell us that, you want to hear more, you want to hear less, you want to hear something different, you want to hear us talk about a specific topic. It's okay, because this is what I think Blaine and I really like to do, is just talk about what's on people's minds at this point in time. Yeah.
And please like, subscribe, follow, and buy us a beer. $5. I don't even think we told you at the start of the show. $5, and we will mention you. $5 an episode. We will talk about you on the show, and we will buy beer with the $5 that you give us. So go to mikeandblaine.com, buy us a beer, buy some merch, send us a message. I'd love to hear from you.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week.
All right.